All right, let's look at example 1b. We're going to sketch the graph of y equals f of 3x plus 6. Now, this is really the question. Sorry, I'm just turning my paper over. This is really this graph right here. So the shape's still going to be that curved shape right here. Now, when we do this, I listed the points already on the other page, 4 points for us, but just sort of keep in mind that general shape, and you can always flip back in your notebooklet to see it again as well. Okay, so when I've listed, that's the 4 points I got. All right, so we're gonna look at the horizontal stretch, and you can see there's a horizontal shift as well. But there needs to be 2 sets of brackets. You need to factor out the 3 first. So we're gonna say factor first. So my equation is f of 3x plus 2. Now, had I forgot to factor, I'd still get the right horizontal stretch. There's a horizontal stretch by a factor of 1/3. But I would have had the wrong shift. This is going to be left 2. So I'm going to apply my mapping notation. Now there's 2 strategies. What I like to do for sure is always use mapping notation for the stretches and if there were reflections as well. And then nothing happens to the y value. So I like to do it in 2 steps. Then I'm going to count and I'm going to then move it left 2. If I wanted to do, I could also, the mapping notation that includes everything, I could say 1/3 x and then left 2 would mean subtract 2 and then y. So you can do it in 1 step. Because of the 1/3 and I'm going to have these fractions in here, subtracting with fractions, I find there's a little bit more room for some error. So I find counting, there's less room. So I prefer, and it helps me keep the order of what I do with the order of operations in mind as well. So I'm going to multiply these x values by 1/3. I know that you've got some fractions to plot there. That's no problem. And I'm not going to do anything with the y values. Then I'm going to move it left 2. So I'm going to use a pencil. This isn't going to be my final answer. So 0, 0, 1/3 isn't very far up, and 1. 4/3 is 1 and 1/3. And 2, and then 3 and 3. Now, if this was an assignment or something you were turning in or even in your notes, you don't necessarily have to, draw this, or you can locate that point and move it left 2 and not sketch this. I'm going to lightly draw this in, and I'm going to leave it here just so that we have it in your notes. You have it in your booklet so that you can refer that this was just the 3x part, but we haven't moved it yet. So then we just take each of those points and move them left 2. I kind of know that this was 1/3 away. This was 1 and 1/3 away, so I kind of gauge it that way from my endpoints, and this is my final answer. I'm going to just go over that with pen maybe to have that stand out, but most importantly, I'm going to label it. You can label it either in factored or unfactored part. I'll label that as the original question, and there you have your final answer. So I like the strategy of 2 steps of applying that and then counting rather than subtracting 2 from each of those, though that is a strategy that works as well.